apart from one another. It's difference in that.
The clip. Clap. I was
Shad.
taking a bath.
How the heck are you doing, brother?
On a Saturday night.
How the heck are you doing? How you feeling?
Terrible.
Yeah.
I have a long day. I'm sure you've had a long day.
I'm having a long day, too.
I've decided that this episode is not going to be about anything specific. This episode is going to be a tap into the zeitgeist. We're going into the manic energy that drives all of humanity towards
all of humanity,
chaos.
it's specifically us, too.
Us too. It's entropy in action. You've seen the show fall to its greatest. It's gone to its greatest heights. The Bryan Cohen love episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Never going to top that.
We're going to hit our lowest low today. Right now.
This is
You're
gonna
going to tune in just for the worst episode of Monomaniacs.
Let me just open this by saying this is a great value proposition for anybody who's listening, that they may get a whole hour of the lowest of the low. So incredible. It can only go up from there.
Literally anything is possible in this episode.
It's true. There's no restraints because we have lost all will to produce good content.
It's true. It's like, how, often cars and whatnot will have like a cap on how fast they can go. They have built-in restraints and et cetera so that they don't exceed certain speeds and whatnot. We're ripping those things off. This is podcasting unleashed, as they say.
Yeah, with the brakes cut.
This is podcasting with the brakes cut. This is podcasting on methamphetamine. This is podcasting in a whole nother dimension. This is podcasting where a dog keeps scratching me over and over again. I'm sure that she will bark on multiple occasions. Look, who knows what's going to happen?
I know.
I don't know what's going to happen.
There could be barks. There could be, I don't know, that's pretty much as wild as it could get.
I'm sure we'll ask
see
Josh
where
to
it
do
goes.
something and he won't do it,
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Dude.
It's going to be awesome.
When we started this podcast, did you ever think about how luxurious it could be? Like how it could get to this point of sheer luxury and premium content?
You mean decadence?
Yeah, that too. Right.
This is
the fall of the Roman Empire.
This is, you open the collection of Godiva chocolates, and we're the chocolate. We're the devil's chocolate.
Yeah,
We're Monte Chocolate's revenge chocolate.
Yeah.
This is so, this brownie might kill you is a Hoser Rudder reference, but this, it's so dark that this is, bad for your heart.
I just realized we just spent the last, I don't know, what is it, 30 minutes we've been doing this?
The last 30 minutes of this podcast.
Just prefacing on how we're feeling right now.
Yeah.
Well, why? Shad, why are you feeling this way?
Why am I feeling this way? I had a long day at work. I've had a series of long days at work. It's 90 degrees outside today.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Right?
This basement's nice and chilly, though.
This basement is nice, but not, it's chilly, but I wouldn't call it nice. It's too chilly. It's too chilly. You go from 90 degrees to too chilly. I don't know, man.
Well, in Latin America, they believe that can make you sick.
I already feel a lump in my throat.
Yeah, transferring from two extremes of heat can make you sick. So
I like the idea of a guy like walking from outside to inside, and his abuela is like yelling at him not to take his coat off. Like, please, no! You can't lose another one, Julio.
It's true.
We had a friend who spent a lot of time in South America, and he said it was basically like that. If you did that, people would freak out. So you'd have dudes who would wake up in the middle. Construction workers who'd be wearing puffy vests like it's New York or whatever, stylish puffy vests, waking up and running a backhoe in 120-degree heat because they don't want to change the temperature of their body too quickly.
Not too quickly. Yeah. Well, no, and then they would get in the car in the morning on a cold morning and leave the air conditioning on to make sure that the car did not heat up while they were in it. So when they got to the place, it could be a natural transfer of heat and energy.
I'm actually beginning to think as I get older and older that all of this stuff is true. That the folk wisdom is actually the real wisdom. That our ancestors have it correct, and that we've abandoned them.
What if the whole reason America is collapsing, when it comes to like
America's collapsing.
Yeah, when it comes to just like general kindness to the other individual, unity within the country, is because grocery stores have blowing cold air when you walk into them, right? When it's a hot summer day and you walk into a Kroger and you're blasted with cold air, that's what's killing America.
Well, and then that throws your humors off.
Yes,
and
it's
then
true. You've got way too much black bile.
Yeah, you
at that
have
moment.
too much black bile at that moment, and then you go and you purchase foods that satiate whatever it is that you're going through at that moment, which is a bad mojo.
And those foods are full of seed oil.
Yeah, they're
just
full
that
of
simple.
seed oil. You show up, you're like, I'm gonna go eat some wholesome beef fried food, right? Some tallow fried food, like our ancestors did. You walk in, throws your humors off, and you're like, maybe I'll have a Twinkie.
Maybe I'll have an Arizona iced tea.
Maybe
it's only 99 cents. Why not?
It's 99 cents and 99%, hydrogenated corn syrup. But You know, it's,
No, dude, do you remember when we would go to the Safeway?
Oh yeah,
this is my favorite little fun fact.
With like $3 or whatever.
The Safeway, you could get a full gallon of lemonade for $1.
Oh gosh, that stuff would kill you.
It was a full gallon, so it was literally in a milk jug.
It was
so
in a
you
milk
get a
jug.
milk jug full of lemonade for $1,
Yeah.
and that stuff was probably 1 part acid. It's citric acid, not even lemon flavored, just to give you that burn, just citric acid and water. That was it. You know,
I just remember just sitting down and like playing games with my friends and like feeling my stomach lining leave my body. You know.
Well, and the thing about it is, we wondered why we would feel disgusting and like gross all throughout, you know, those kind of weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking back to, because you know I work in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about the time we went to a gaming convention, went to PAX. And we brought one of those lemonades with us and like ate nothing but that lemonade and pizza flavored Pringles for a full day on our feet, walking around the whole day. And I was like, man, I remember having the worst headache at the end of the day, feeling like garbage. And I'm like,
there is a beauty to the point.
Now if I went, I would like pack ants on a log and some water and just vibe.
There's a moment like you're going the Appalachian Trail, you know? You got your hiking boots on, you got your short shorts with your Legend of Zelda t-shirt, you got your cargo shorts and Legend of Zelda t-shirt. I like the idea, though, of... you know, there's this moment in your life where you transition. I think this is the real loss of innocence. You know, some people say it's like the first time you see somebody naked, or like, you know, the first time.
That's what people say.
Or like, you know, the first time like somebody who you're related to dies or something. Like that's when you go from being a child to, you know,
a boy to a man.
A boy to a man, as it were. But I think it's actually the moment where you can't drink 3 cans of Mountain Dew and eat nothing but cheese balls and like have the best night of your life. Because you just sit there, you just crush that stuff. Yeah. Man. You're just like, boom, boom, boom. We're going to play Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 until 3 a.m. That for us is an all-nighter. And then you wake up and you're like, man, that was the best night of my freaking life. But in all actuality, there's a moment, it happens sometime in like middle school, depending on how healthy you are, high school, depending on how healthy you are, where you have like 2 sodas and you're like, I want to die. Yeah. I'm going to jump off something really tall right now. And I'm not going to be able to finish this
you
movie.
and I are just genetically predisposed to being garbage.
I think we've got bad little tom-toms.
Yeah, because I mean, as we mentioned in the last episodes, there's guys out there that subsist off of Monster energy drinks.
True. Banks.
And corn syrup, you know, and then just completely survive.
I like that. You can actually buy corn syrup.
Yeah.
Cut out the middleman, dude. That stuff's pretty sweet.
Just drink a tall glass of corn syrup.
Yeah, you know, it's how you buy, you know,
because you got to think about all those additives, right?
Yeah, you buy so much sparkling water, and you're like, oh, just get a Soda Stream. It's like get a Soda Stream, and then you know, carbonate the high fructose corn syrup, and you've got yourself the beverage of the future.
It's true.
You could wipe out the entirety of the second world that way. just flying over South America, dropping crates of just
carbonated
high fructose corn syrup, which isn't like too far off from what we drink.
That's true. Yeah. Well, so why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Right.
What do you mean?
I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
You're tired and you're exhausted.
Yeah.
Why?
I was up until like 2 a.m. last night.
Doing what?
I was at the hospital.
Wow.
I won't go into details.
Yeah.
This is rough stuff. That being said, I'm a tired boy.
That's a
lot to go through.
Okay. Well, you know, that sounds rough, but I'm sure that I went through more. I mean, you had access to a vending machine. I didn't have a vending machine.
I had access to an ice machine that also had water in it, which was weird. It was an ice machine first and water second. I don't get that.
There wasn't a place to get Ghirardelli's or whatever? You couldn't walk over?
No.
And
You think the Hillsdale County Hospital has got the amenities provide us Ghirardelli's chocolates?
I feel like you can't have a hospital unless you have at least 2 or 3 vending machines. You have one of those really bad coffee machines. You have something that gives you fruit snacks.
Well, I was looking, dude, at around 12:30, I was looking for coffee. I was desperate for it. Could not find the thing.
Going down the halls like a hound.
Yeah.
Sniffing.
Well, there was a coffee maker, and I felt like it was for the staff, and I wasn't going to take somebody's coffee.
You could have just asked.
Nurse, I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little sleepy. Can I have some coffee, please?
Well, we don't want to, actually officially, admit you to the hospital for being sleepy. So we'll give you some prophylactics.
Well, no. If you give you the coffee though, that goes on your bill. You know, they upcharge that. That's like a $200 cup of coffee. Right
it goes through like 3 different insurance companies.
Yeah, caffeine injection is what they write it down as.
Yes, exactly. You get a call from your insurance, and they're just like, "I'm sorry, we can't cover this coffee.
We don't cover coffee.
We don't cover coffee."
Big pharma, so corrupt, so corrupt. Our American health system.
It's true.
Anyway,
so how do we do? How do we fix it?
How do we fix it?
Yeah,
is that what you're asking? me?
Yeah.
All right, okay. It's really simple.
Yeah.
All right. I think that every high school should have a first aid class. Right.
Okay.
That cuts out about 30% of all hospital visits, right? People that don't know any better and think that they're hurt to an extreme amount, and they go to the emergency room, and it turns out it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Okay, it's nothing that somebody who knows how to use a needle and thread and has a stick to bite on, could handle, right?
Mountain man survival.
Basic training for all Americans, would improve the chances there. And then the other step, it's an insidious one, but I think it could work. All right. At a very young age, we train people to understand that death is normal and that it's okay to die. It's
part of the life cycle.
It's okay, part of the life cycle. In fact, spin it in a very positive way about how you're helping the community by doing so.
Well, I think the exact opposite.
That cuts out another 60% of hospital visits.
The exact opposite is happening right now, actually. Mm-hmm. We're a very death-averse culture.
Yeah. No,
right.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying swing it the opposite way.
The vast majority of people our age are under the impression that medical technology is going to advance and like they're going to be 150-year-old when they die, right? They're just like, it's just going to happen. This is how things work exponentially, and they have no perception.
Yeah,
people die for so many stupid, inconsequential reasons.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
they die from TikTok challenges. Literally, they die from TikTok challenges. Yeah. Right. They die going down the stairs wrong. I sometimes I'll sit there and I'll think about my day and like how every individual thing I did could have minutely killed me.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay.
There was a percentage chance that you could have died doing that.
I sprayed for weeds today. What if I missed?
And hit your mouth instead.
If I hit my mouth instead.
Oops.
Right? I killed some carpenter bees. What if I took the steel wool and swallowed it on accident? Right?
Yeah.
What if,
true.
What if the mole trap I was taking out of my yard, I mishandled it, tripped, cut my larynx?
Yeah.
What if, the gas range that I use, that's just a bomb. You have a bomb in your house. Now, it makes bomb steaks, but it's a bomb in your house. Right? It'll kill you.
Uh-huh.
I have a cat now. That thing gets the wrong idea. It can kill me. Easy. Easy.
Yeah. Well, I was actually talking to my wife the other day. Actually, yesterday, we were in the car. Or was that or the day before? In the car. I was like,
literally doesn't matter.
I know. There literally is no consequence to the story.
Yeah.
We were in the car, and I was like, I actually have thought about the fact that I think I'm not going to die on a deathbed quietly. Like, I think I'm going to be in a horrific accident. Like, I don't know why I get that sense. Like, something is going to happen that is unexpected, and
this is sort of a part of the Strehle luck situation where, like, if I don't know where my wife is for like an hour and a half, I'm like,
she's dead. Yep. She died. She's not coming home.
Freak accident, or I think that at any moment that's going to occur in my life. Because I always think about the fact that attrition exists.
Mm-hmm.
When you have soldiers and you're in a war and you have them in a place and you're not even fighting, a good general will write down or like take into account how many soldiers he's just going to lose because life, right?
Yeah.
Somebody trips, somebody breaks too hard in the tank and smashes their nose into their back of their skull, right? Which, I've heard of actually has happened, or they drink the wrong water, eat the wrong food wherever they are. You just expect dudes to die. The funny thing is that at the end of the day, two guys in dress show up to their mom's house and tell them they died, a hero every time. But, just every day. People are dying for stupid reasons in foreign theaters of war in every war, right?
And throughout our country all the time,
and
just regular, general,
all the time, right? And every year you hear statistics where it's like a vending machine is more likely to kill you than a shark, and cows are the most dangerous animals in America, right? Because so many people are killed by cows, and countless more by heart disease.
The great insidious monster.
The great insidious monster that is American health, but
the human heart. But
it's wild to me that people are so averse when it's something that if you don't just embrace, like, okay, there's a possibility that at any moment I'm going to get murdered.
Yeah, but I will say there is a constructive amount of embrace, though, that I think that you and I probably take too far. We're
what are you talking about?
We're often, maybe me. Maybe I'm just projecting, but it's just like, thinking too often about the possibility of death as opposed to, to the point where it starts to be a relatively common thought in your head about like, I could die doing this, or this could, I could die suddenly, you know. And going through the passion play that would be, if I died in this moment, what would happen? And then you go through the steps. You're like, next thing is like, who would find my body? Would I be able to call somebody before I die?
I go through that passion play too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it's like, there is an extremity to it.
Except for all mine start with a rock.
With a rock?
Yeah, the rock plays our dad.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm so sad that Shad died. He's crying. He does the eyebrows at the camera. Sells an energy drink in the middle of Next Fest.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's... I don't actually believe that would fix our health system or anything like that, but, I think it would be helpful
who
culturally.
Would teach that class? What, do you have somebody like show up and be like, all right, we're going to read some Dostoevsky and really just get into this whole nature of life thing? Or are you going to have like a somebody?
I think it's simply a cultural thing. It's not a class thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like
I didn't say
celebrate.
It was a class thing.
Who would teach that class is what you said.
Yeah.
It's like from a very young age, instead of reading books about the places you'll go. Instead, is all the ways you could possibly die.
All the ways you could possibly die.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
then be like, and then all of these are interesting and unique in their own way. Your whole thing could be that you were a person that died in a unique and interesting way.
Well, before antibiotics, most people would just die at like 40 or 35 because they tripped, right?
Yeah.
And maybe back then we had a more healthy relationship with the whole life and death thing. We're becoming antediluvian. We're becoming ancient. We're all becoming immortals, a gerontocracy, if you will. Nobody's having kids and everybody's getting old, so it's like, I was this is a really weird tangent. I'm sorry, guys. There was this guy who took a bow and arrow and walked into a grocery store in the Netherlands and shot like 4 people.
Yeah.
And of course he didn't like kill anybody. Right. But he was like 25, he had converted to like radical Islam, just like in his garage or whatever. And he was depressed and didn't have a wife or girlfriend. And he was like, I'm just going to be an incel about it and go and shoot people. And he was like, well, I got a bow and arrow. I'm going to shoot people with a bow and arrow. He does so. And you're reading the news story and he walks in this grocery store and he shoots, 5 or 6 people, all of them over the age of 55. It's like, that is a culture of people who are just aged.
Yeah.
This is the guy's like, I'm the only young person in this entire town.
Weird. Yeah, that is a weird.
It's weird. I was reading about this, and it's strange to me. Apparently, there's this rash of them going on right now in Europe, bow and arrow attacks, because it's really difficult to get a firearm, and in a lot of European countries, it's also really difficult to get a knife. And so people are like, okay, I just really got to kill somebody so bad. They're out in their backyard like Legolas, just like shooting arrows into a target, split them in half.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, Robin Hood and his merry men.
Hard cut to the van,
Wearing a trench coat, but it's got a quiver on the back of it, that sort of situation. So, I mean, it's kind of a wild element. It makes you wonder if there's just this desire, there's this thing going on where people are like, I got to walk into a public place and commit acts of violence, and they're like, I'm just going to use a bow and arrow.
There you go.
I think there was actually a movie with John C. Reilly and Tilda Swinton about a kid who did that.
Look it up, Josh.
No, there really is. It's really weird because John C. Reilly and Tilda Swinton are married, and you're like, what the hell?
They're married
in the movie.
Okay,
they're not married in real life.
I was like, excuse me?
No, they're married in the movie, which is supposed to kind of put you off and be like, this is like, something is wrong here because these two are married.
2011's We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Yes, we need to talk about Kevin. And he goes and he kills people with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I guess maybe this is like, are people talking to the director if we need to talk about Kevin and ask him if he's inspiring copycat crimes?
I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
See what the HuffPost wrote about it.
Yeah, see what the HuffPost wrote about. We need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah.
But
We need to talk about the bow and arrow crisis in America.
We need to
More
talk about the bow and arrow crisis in America.
True. Any dang way.
I'm sorry, this is going to get kind of weird, but I like the idea of restricting quiver size.
Nobody needs 30 arrows.
If you miss that deer, you're not going to hit it on a second shot.
There you go. It's true. It's senseless, really, having so many arrows in your quiver.
It makes you wonder why they don't just get a repeat crossbow. Those things are real.
It's true.
You're one of those
like Chinese
the
ones.
Qing Dynasty ones where it's like a box you just drop arrows into. It's like a semi-automatic rifle, but it shoots arrows.
I've watched Deadliest Warrior, dude.
I've
played the Deadliest Warrior video game.
Yeah, it was
Many
Ming
hours.
Dynasty. My bad. It was the Ming Dynasty warrior versus the Musketeer.
Yes.
If I remember properly, which is a weird and mismatched little fight that they had going on. They were like flintlock versus a bow. That
You know what I bet? I
What?
bet there is a Deadliest Warrior equivalent podcast in existence now, even though the show is dead.
Rebrand?
Let's shift over to the.
We're gonna ship over.
All right.
All right.
Who would win?
Pick a warrior,
Pick a warrior.
and then I'll advocate for it, and I'll pick a warrior for you.
Okay. So I want to pick a warrior for you.
Yeah.
Is the idea. Okay. Michigan Militiamen.
Michigan Militiamen, the Ultimate Warrior, WWE.
Michigan Militiamen
versus the
I'm going to clarify 2020 Michigan
2020
militia guy
getting just totally stomped by the FBI.
getting ready to kidnap
tricked into kidnapping Governor Whitmer.
Yeah, getting ready to kidnap Governor Whitmer versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Okay. Well, what is their criteria? Just who survives?
Let's just game it out real quick.
Okay, let's game it out. Okay. So first off, let's go with you. I provided yours first. What are you doing to prepare?
The Michigan militiamen, they're, contacting Kevin, a guy they've never met, but has a buzz cut, and has a weirdly mid-Atlantic accent, And Kevin is like, yeah, I think you really should kill the Ultimate Warrior. I think it'd really stick it to the government if you killed the Ultimate Warrior. And they're like, oh, man, well, we don't have any firearms. He's like, I know a guy. I can get you illegal firearms. And I emphasize illegal firearms. And they're like, oh, wow, man, I guess we're going to trust Kevin. And they get a hold of the illegal firearms. And, they go to the arena. I assume it's like the wilderness, the Ohio Barrens or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out, and then, before it even starts, the FBI shows up and arrests them. So,
Yeah, the helicopters come down.
yeah, I know I'm supposed to be advocating for them, but I don't think they would actually be able to kill the Ultimate Warrior. And then the Ultimate Warrior would just be on the stand against them.
Mm-hmm. Just testifying about how much emotional damage has been caused in his life and his family's life because of the Michigan militia.
Not since Hulk Hogan as a man rocked his world.
It's true. Never has he been more afraid of entering the ring than against these individuals.
Yeah, there's a beautiful. This is history.
Yeah. I want to counter this by saying I would love to see a movie that's just the Predator, except for it's a Michigan militia versus the Ultimate Warrior. And they're in the forest, and the Ultimate Warrior is screaming about Hulk Hogan as he jumps down and
you would literally have a heart attack in a tree. You'd climb the tree and have a heart attack. You'd be like, oh, this is like one too many hits. One too many hits of steroids, man.
It's sad stuff. Yeah, could never do it myself. No, I actually think we've talked about this before to each other. I don't know if we've talked about this on the pod about how for a while, when you're young, you're like the move would be to be
a professional wrestler.
Yeah, a WWE wrestler, right? And I'm not saying because we thought it was real or anything like that, because it's like it's not about that. It's about the show, right?
It's true. It's
about the showmanship. It's about physicality. It's getting up there, swinging around.
The problem with that is that
grapples.
you have to not only be an insanely in shape person, but you also have to be
check.
Yeah,
Done.
Which,
we're there.
Although they get Machine Gun Kelly to come out there and wrestle sometimes, and I can imagine, if Luke Bryan wanted to break his arm, he could do it pretty easy.
True, but hey, that's why it's all performance.
Luke Bryan's not right. Luke Bryan is the country musician, right? Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe Luke Bryan could break his arm.
Daniel Bryan, I think is his name.
Look it up.
The wrestler. Okay, my bad.
Oh.
I'm sorry, all you guys, all you country heads out there, all you yeehaws, as they say.
It's actually Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson?
What?
No.
That sounds more like a country singer than
Does
Luke
he look
Bryan
like a
does.
goat?
Yeah,
Got the beard?
like that.
No, damn. You're right.
Bryan Danielson.
Wow.
Kind of looks
So-
Amish.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Here's a better picture.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah, he's actually very talented, although I think he's injured and no longer competes.
Competes.
No longer performs.
Yeah. That being said, when you're young and on a trampoline, as we've discussed, and you're trying to break out your aggression oftentimes.
You know what we should do, actually, now that the lockdowns and stuff are done in Michigan, we should try and go to an outdoor minor league wrestle.
No, yeah. Brant invited me to one once. We saw a sign for one, and we were like, oh, we should go to that. We never ended up doing it.
That's a bummer, man.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, we're in the Midwest. They're all over the place.
I know.
It happens all the time.
Awesome. Just like watching two Hicks just beat the crap out of each other.
That's true, yeah. With face paint on.
Yeah, for
It's
like the 25 people, all of them over the 250 pounds watching.
You know what we should do?
What?
We should just, as a hobby, be guys that commentate those events. Wouldn't that just be a ton of fun?
It would be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It would be a ton of fun.
That'd just be a blast.
You have to learn more about wrestling. But
Yeah.
just do that as a freelance gig.
Yeah.
Just be like,
I would do it for $100.
yeah.
And that's
Show
it.
up.
Show up. I don't.
oh my word!
Oh lordy!
Oh Lord, is he gonna get up from that? Look what he's doing to him. What is he doing?
Dear God, man!
Ref, someone's gotta stop this.
Someone's got a knife. Just
He is beyond cruel. He is beyond cruel to that man. This is torture. This should be illegal.
yeah. That's 95% of wrestling
dude.
commentary.
Dude.
The other 95% is like having a guest commentator who gets beat up halfway through the match. This dog is just up in my grill right now.
Hey, come on.
Sorry, I'm not giving you attention, dude. I'm trying to tell the people the truth.
Yeah, the truth about wrestling. Yeah, but no, honestly though, I'm gonna say top 5 career changes for Dylan Strahle. If I could get paid to do that, that would be a freaking blast.
So what you either have to be a color commentator, which usually means you have to have industry experience, or you got to be a play-by-play, and I don't think you know enough about wrestling to do that. Could you identify like a crab suplex?
You just made that up.
No, it's not.
not a
I
real
did not
thing.
make that up.
It's not a real thing. Josh, vindicate me.
Could you tell the difference between a crab suplex and a crab rangoon?
I think so. I think I could do that.
It's the Boston crab, which may not be a suplex. Yeah, the Boston crab.
Okay.
Could you identify a Boston crab?
Yes. If I was in Boston, at the very least, I could do it. That being said, it's not a matter of whether or not I have the experience.
Yo! And you're like, Boston crab.
Hey! It's
funny to you? And you're like,
there he is.
Get the hell out of this Duncan.
You should not be saying that on TV. That's that he's from Boston.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I have that experience
Just a
or
racist
not.
crab.
Yeah. If I have that experience or not, I think that it's experience that I could have with time and training, right? I'm just saying, if I had to change my careers and actually, invest time into another thing, that's something I really.
But the problem is that there's one way to do it when you're talking about like professional wrestling, and you're going out and you're like, these are writers who have real credentials, writing stories. You're adding some elements to the stories. You're kind of working off the script. You're developing the storyline versus in some dude's backyard, and it's like,
Yeah, General Ripper is he's a real customer.
The best part about that would be the fact that there are no rules, right? So
it'd be like General Ripper versus Squinty.
Yeah.
And like Squinty would be the face, and he would also be like a racist caricature. And you'd have to somehow come up with some sort of.
That would be the best part of it, because that's more of a challenge, right? Where it's like they don't care what their story is. They give you like a 2-sentence summary of what they do, and it's like, all right, I can manufacture some sort of beef between these.
Like
two
I watched
figures.
that. What is it, like Beyond the Mat or whatever, that documentary from the really early 2000s about professional wrestling, and it follows this guy, and this is like in the Jackass era, and so it's got that like classic film grain, and it's kind of got that edge to it, and it's Jake the Snake running around just being a freaking drug addict, and it's super depressing. But one of the things they do is they follow this guy who sends in an audition tape to the WWE, and he goes out to Connecticut or wherever they're based. They're based in like, I think Connecticut or something. They're on the East Coast, and he goes out to where they're based to audition to Vince McMahon. And his thing is he can throw up on command. So he's like in Vince McMahon's office, and he's like, all right, so like what I think I can bring to the WWE, other than, of course, my wrestling, right, is that I could throw up on command. And he's like, really? Let me see it. And he takes a trash can, and it takes him like 10 minutes. It takes him forever. And he's just like sitting there just like, and then he finally throws up. And then Vince McMahon is like, man, yeah, like maybe we could use that. I don't know. And then it's like, he never received a call back. It's like, duh.
But that's the beauty of wrestling. It's like that could even a man could think about that as a special talent that the WWE could use.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's people that have supreme delusions of grandeur who are like, I could be a professional football player.
Yeah.
Right. But they just don't have the athleticism. Right. You can just have a weird, wacky thing like that and be like, I think the WWE could use this in some way. Right. Like,
There's famously a bunch of
I could
wrestlers.
dislocate my arm and swing it around and use it as a weapon. I think the WWE could use that.
There's famously a bunch of wrestlers who could not wrestle.
Yeah.
Who had, great gimmicks. Right. Like I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about New Jack, who's this guy in the ECW. Back when the ECW was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And his thing was that he had a knife and he was like a black racist. And he would like get up there and be like, OJ killed white people. He did nothing wrong. And everybody would be like, boo. And he would get in the stadium and just like swing at people.
Swing around with OJ's knife.
Yeah. And that's what he would do. And you're like, wow, man. Like, and they were talking about how there was this interview with this other wrestler. He's like, I met him before he had his gimmick. And I was like, this is truly this is one of the rising talents. And he like walked into that. He walked into that squared circle and just threw it at the wall.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
It's a great energy.
It's awesome because there's this obsession in wrestling, and I've always loved it, that you got to play out geopolitics on the mat.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing, right?
So
the fact that the Iron Sheik, right,
Yes.
existed and also changed nationalities depending on which Middle Eastern country we were
Right,
having a problem with at any given time,
Yeah.
right? It's a beautiful thing.
Someone would get in and they'd fight the Iron Sheik, which I think the Iron Sheik was like some sort of weird Eastern European. I don't think he was.
Yeah, I don't think he was
he might have been
actually-
like Turkish, but like vaguely.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'd be like, I'm Iranian. The Ayatollah is awesome. I love the Ayatollah. And he'd be like, boo. And he's like, Saddam rocks. I love Saddam. And everybody's like, boo. Right. And then John Cena would be like, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. Although I don't think.
I lost friends to men like you.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of an overlap actually. But I mean, there's a lot of really great moments. There was that brief period in like 2009 or 10 where there was some rumblings involving Putin. Actually, it might have been closer to like 2012, 2013, where like Mitt Romney got laughed at the presidential debate for saying that Russia was our greatest foreign policy threat. And at that point, I think like a spy plane or something got shot down over Russia, and they had like 3 Russian wrestlers, and they came out that Monday and were like, we have shot out the stupid American spy plane. What are you gonna do about it, right? And then John Cena was like, we gotta stop these guys, these commie bastards. They all came out and they beat the crap out of them.
It's beautiful, right?
It's awesome. It's great.
It's like you're watching Rocky IV every Monday.
Yeah,
right.
But then it'll be
It's
like
the same amount of stakes.
You've got guys coming out being like, George Floyd deserved it. And then have a black guy come out and beat the crap out of him. You're like, what the hell is going on? Or like, one of my favorites is just John Cena being like, I just want to let everybody know in the WWE universe that Osama bin Laden has been killed. Everybody in the audience is just, yes!
Yeah,
Yes!
that is one of the
You're
best
damn right!
the best clips of all time.
Yeah.
John Cena finding out on stage that Osama bin Laden has been killed,
Yeah.
and announcing it to the rest of the audience that this has happened.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, right? The fact that he's such a respected individual, and the delivery. It's like better than to those people if George W. Bush came up and told them that Osama bin Laden
I was watching
dead.
this video where it was like some random race. In some NASCAR race, and forgive me, I'm not great at NASCAR, but it was a random NASCAR race, and they're like, and all right, so we got this guy, he's gonna be doing pretty good today, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, and I just came over our desk. It looks like we're gonna be invading Afghanistan. So we've officially begun our invasion. Anyway, so back to the race. Yeah. Beauty to that.
It's beautiful.
TV used to be wild in that way,
Dude,
right?
I just loved
Like
breaking
the George Bush doesn't care about black people Kanye moment. Like
Dude.
that used to just happen
This
on TV.
it doesn't happen anymore.
Like,
Nobody's watching TV.
That's true.
First,
And if they are, they're watching Jimmy Fallon or The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
And like nothing happens on those shows.
well, I mean, the Rudy Giuliani thing and Masked Singer.
Yes, that was funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
But like,
Not
it's
really.
it's a manufactured moment.
Yeah.
Still, right? Like it doesn't have that natural sense of it being
Yeah.
live and everything like that.
we used to be a proper country with proper television.
Yeah.
Where
Where the chance that somebody could,
Just
make a
lose
racial
their mind
make a
on
racial
live
slur on
TV.
broadcast TV
the
for
other day
everyone to hear.
I forget his name. You might want to look this up. You should look this guy up. But he was, I think, treasurer of Pennsylvania, this Republican, and from like the 90s, who committed suicide on live TV. Just shot himself on live
Just
TV.
made it happen.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he was indicted for some sort of like laundering or something. Just look up Pennsylvania politician who shot himself.
Yeah.
Oh.
R. Bud Dwyer.
Yeah, R. Bud Dwyer, who was under investigation in Pennsylvania.
1981.
Yeah, 1981. Okay, not the 90s, but 1981.
No, 87.
Oh, 87. Okay. And he, you know,
Does you know this about like censorship laws and everything like that? Did that lead to a new line of censorship?
no,
laws,
that
or-
didn't.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly what did in a second, but
Well, I know what it was, but
yeah,
continue.
Yeah. This didn't, I don't think, change much because I think 12 people saw it because it was a press conference on local, Pennsylvania television.
Mhm.
But he, shot himself on live TV, and he was like, "Yeah, I call everybody here today to tell you I'm totally innocent." Just pulls the gun out, and people are like, "Hey, man, what?" Like, there's all these people in the background be like, "Hey, whoa, what, dude?" It's wild. It's wild, but. What actually changed the television standards and, like everything has a delay now and et cetera, was the Janet Jackson nip
Yeah.
slip because,
Classic.
all of America saw a nipple that day.
Yeah.
And
None were prepared for it.
none were prepared for that nipple.
No.
We were watching football and Justin Timberlake bring it, kick it down white boy style, goaded with the sauce. And he got a little too goaded with the sauce and things got out of control.
Did you see that video? I actually saw it out today of him in concert, and he's like trying to break it down white boy style still, and it's rough, brother.
Really?
He's like trying to do that, where you kick your legs back up behind your legs, and like bounce back and forth and stuff like that. I'm a white man as well, so I can tell you exactly what it is, but like. Lordy, brother. He has not aged well. The poor guy.
He's got the voice of an angel, though.
It's true.
He
That's all that matters.
He can kick it.
Honestly, you could murder a person on live television and get away with it if you've got a voice of an angel.
It's true.
Right. Speaking of
that, or if you were the best running back of all time, O.J. Simpson, who allegedly who allegedly got away with murder.
who allegedly got away with murder, may or may not have.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, what we do here, right?
Yeah.
We got a show. It's called Monomaniacs.
Wait, are you gonna really try to whale this?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. Hold on. Hold your horses. Hold your whales. Batten down your hatches. We can't do this. This A+ content that you're watching right now. We can't do this without the help of our patrons. Right. Great folks. They allow us to have new equipment, stuff like this TV in the background. They didn't help pay for, but it's them keeping the lights on, right? The electricity that's used for this, right, comes from you guys, which it's what it's all about. This breakdancing cat that you see behind me, is it in shot?
You couldn't see the mouse last week.
Oh,
So.
rip. That being said, thank you so much for helping out and providing us with the ability to do this. I want to thank first and foremost our top patrons, of course, Joseph Papalardo and Amber and Zach Strehle for their cool lieutenant tier contributions. That being said, we have several other tiers, including our $5 tier to get our post show. We keep going, and it gets a little bit wackier. We don't have to worry about monetization stuff, which something we really are concerned about. That being said, if you just want to get the content early, that's only $1. And if you want to ask us questions on the show, that is the $10 tier, the AMA tier, which reminds me, we got questions. We got questions from the king of questions, of course, Joseph Papalardo, who was the only person who sent in questions this week. Many weeks in a row. Thank you. Cannot do this without Joe Papalardo. All right. Okay, first question. How old is Shad? Well,
25.
25. You could look this up on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's not that big. But you know what? Hey, it's okay. That's all right.
I'm glad
I'm glad that the world got to know.
Yeah.
Right? Because not everybody's
My
friends
birthday was a month and some time ago.
with okay. Not everybody's friends with Shad on Facebook.
Actually, I think my Facebook was made when I lied about my birthday or something.
Really?
Yeah. So
Are you still getting like? Are you not?
You get birthday notifications. I don't.
Wow.
People don't get to
So
know
the
it's my
true-
birthday. The truth.
the
comes
true
out.
folks.
Maybe that's why Joe asked, because he's
Uh.
like, I actually can't tell on Facebook.
That's right. You know, this is the way to do it instead of just.
I tried to change my
messaging you.
birthday, and it's like, you can't do that. Like, I should have
What
done
are you
it back
doing?
when this was laissez-faire,
Yeah.
back when Meta wasn't trying to control us.
All right. How about this? My favorite color was red, but my wardrobe is more black and blue now.
Yeah.
How has each of your personal styles changed over the years?
I remember this period where I was going for scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great period. A lot of
What does that look like? Yeah.
I was doing a lot of open collars.
Mm.
I had a gold chain. I was actually recently wearing one, but
Isn't that just
broke.
Guido style?
It's kind of Guido style, but it was more like I was really unshaven at that point and wasn't taking care of my beard and started wearing a hat, and it was just like, I'm just not trying anymore. That was my thing.
And so how's that different from what you look like right now?
Very little.
Yeah, I was about
to
say.
I've moved into dad form a little more.
Yeah.
You know, more
Yeah.
T-shirts now that I can wear them because I'm not 240 pounds or whatever.
Mhm.
So I can actually wear T-shirts and look fine.
So would you say that your weight fluctuation
Yeah,
is,
drastically
caused a lot
affected.
of changes?
True. I feel a little bit more comfortable wearing T-shirts. I feel a little bit more comfortable not wearing a shirt for the not wearing a shirt occasions, like being at the lake.
Mm.
Although last time I was at the lake, Jake Coonrat and I and a couple of other guys were hanging out, and I told him a story about a doctor I had in D.C. who told me that I shouldn't shave my back because it's a secondary sexual characteristic. Dr. Harris, who had so much knowledge, he said, you know, he was like, it looks like you shave your back. And I'm like, yeah, I shave my back, you know, every once in a while or whatever. It gets out of control because I'm a freak. And he's like, dude, if a girl can't love you because you don't have a shaved back, it means she can't love you. That's a secondary sexual characteristic. That's not going away. And I was like, damn, knowledge. So I
that guy boosted your self-confidence.
so
that
I
day.
then proceeded to shave my back periodically. But I told that story, and then like 25 minutes later, I took my shirt off, and Jake Coonrat from like 20 feet away, it was like, looks like you took Dr. Harris's advice.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
like,
Yeah, we got
God,
bad
dude.
backs in that regard. No, I'm not gonna say bad. If that's a characteristic, I'm gonna say luxurious.
Luxurious.
Right. You know, if that's what you're
Luxurious.
into, we're both taken. I'm sorry. For me, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm pretty like, I don't know. I've fluctuated a lot after because we both were up until late high school, squarely in the zero style, geeky high school guys that wear sweatshirts every day kind of
Hair,
dudes.
Whack.
Yeah.
Shoes. Whack. The fact that he doesn't even smile. Whack. Me.
Yeah, it's just not. It just wasn't great.
Yeah.
And so, in the senior year of high school, and then like going into college, like I started to try to find exactly what I go for. I went for a more collared shirt guy.
Yeah.
I turned out to be a collared shirt dude, so I wore a collared shirt like every day.
Being a collared shirt guy is the move.
Yeah, I think so
It
because
is.
it's honestly because people say it like requires a little extra work. It doesn't. Right? If you store your shirts right, they just press themselves over the course of the 20 days.
Or you don't. You just throw them in the dryer for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's good. It's easy peasy. Yeah, and then you end up looking like you tried, even though
Yeah.
you did not. There was no effort done whatsoever. So I think that's sort of where I've fallen into, right? And sweaters, and it, mostly I agree. I'm falling into dad's status. When you got a house to work on, and
true.
you wake up on a Saturday, it's like I don't want to
I
get
keep
dressed.
thinking I need to get New Balances.
Yeah, you want to be a New Balance
I
guy?
feel like I need to be a New Balance guy because I'm wearing these really crappy running shoes that cost me like $30. And I was like, I could spend $40 and get New Balances. And they could be 20 times better, and I could mow in those.
Yeah, there you go.
The problem is, though, if they're white, then you just ruin them, though, instantly.
Yeah,
You
well,
mow in
it's-
some white New Balances.
I mean, because you're more of a shoe guy than I am, right? You've been into shoes for a long time.
I don't eschew the shoe.
Yeah. You don't eschew the shoe.
I don't
It's
eschew
just
the
that
shoe.
simple. And so I don't understand it because I actually have a criminally small amount of clothes in my repertoire. My wife is internally frustrated when I say that I only have 2 pairs of jeans. I only got 2 pairs of jeans. I got my work jeans. I got my not work jeans.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
I have my work jeans, my not work jeans, and my not work jeans are starting to kind of, migrate.
Yes,
into the
migrate
work-
in that direction.
into the work jeans.
Yeah. So, it's it's one of those things where it's like I've got the essentials and I don't have anything extempore, outside of it. And I used to be like a guy who just wore flats that were slip-on shoes. Didn't even worry about that. So I never really got the appeal of a nice pair of shoes.
Right now I'm rocking Birkenstocks because it's the summer, and I remember when I met Becca. At that point during the summer, I bought one pair of flip-flops. That's what I wore. For
I'm
the
a
whole
flip-flop
summer.
guy. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, and Becca was like, we can't do this. You can't wear flip-flops. And I was like, what? Why? And she was like, it's weird. And I was like, why? You have to tell me why. She's like, I just don't like the idea. It's really weird and specific. She's like, of the rubber just being in between your toes all the time. It's gross to me. And I was like, okay, I guess I don't wear flip-flops anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whipped. But hey, it all worked out.
How it works out. Birks are a million times better.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah.
Well, except for because I'm missing a toenail, and
I don't know. Has the audience heard about this?
I don't know
before?
if you've heard about this, but I just don't have a big toe on my left foot.
Yeah.
For chemical reasons. So they chemically burned it off. Not my chemicals are imbalanced and it fell off. They chemically burned it. So I no longer have a toenail there, and so I walk weird, and my weight is distributed weird. So, like, my Birkenstocks just rub up against my feet constantly, or all my shoes do. I walk like I've had Agent Orange or something. It's bad. I would say it's very bad. There was this thing. It's gotten a lot better now because I've actively worked to correct it. But people would be able to tell when I was on campus from, like, a mile away. They'd be like, oh, look, it's like, oh, which twin is that? And they'd be like, oh, that's Shad.
Yep. He's got that lurchy walk.
I got that lurch.
Yeah, it's gotten better over the years, but it was a rough customer.
People in
for a
high
while.
school used to do impressions of it.
Yep. Yeah, and as you imagine, they were very nice.
Yep.
Very complimentary impressions.
So as you can see, I really turned out from that.
Yeah. We're both very healthy individuals mentally and physically. Oh, Lucy.
This dog is she's like, I want to eat the microphone. Sorry, I don't want to give you any attention right now. I'm kind of in the middle of something, trying to provide sweet content.
Both to us and the dog.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, okay, so I'm going to ask you something.
Okay.
Oh, shoot, sorry.
It's okay.
The dog is attacking Shad. Stay.
Sit down, dude.
Stay.
Be humble.
So, we've both been homeowners for a period.
Yeah.
And we both work from home.
Yes.
Do you feel as though
Home worker.
that your expectations for yourself are starting to go down from things outside of like work, like when it comes to just like getting up in the morning and getting ready and like everything like that? Because like some days I will realize at 3 p.m. that I forgot to brush my teeth. And I was like, oh, shoot. I just woke up and I, got ready or whatever, and I just did that. And it did not matter. Did not matter the entire day. And then I'm okay with it, and sometimes, so it's like, do you feel
There's definitely a gremlin mode.
Yeah,
that kind of it starts to overtake you.
Yeah,
right.
Like I've gone like 3 days in a row wearing the same pair of pants and not changing them.
Yeah,
right.
Where
it's just like
you wake up and you roll out, and it's like what you do is you work around the house or you work for all day.
Yes,
right.
That's true.
And
that's the other thing is
then Saturday comes along, and that means you got to do the honeydew. So you're doing 5 hours in the yard or whatever, and then so you're kind of stuck. I feel this really strongly. It's that there's this problem that's kind of coming up right now because Becca right now is working outside of the house, and so she comes home and she wants to spend time at home, and I get off work and I'm like, I want to go somewhere. I want to leave, right? And so there's this like weird tension there where we're both like, what are we supposed to do? Because that means that we're gonna have to spend the evening away from each other, which is never like a positive thing.
No.
So it's very tough, I would say. At some point, though, I feel like we've turned this show into just what it's like to work from home cast in some ways.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, and really, when it comes down to it, I mean, this is going to sound so. It's just nonplus, but like it's got its positives and its negatives. I mean, I know that doesn't mean anything. It's a complete waste of a statement. But at the end of the day, I do see distinct problems with working
You know what I
from home. It's not all positives.
What
like
I
people
realized
say.
the other day, and I was on the phone with a friend of mine because I try to take a walk every day or two, and I was taking a walk, and I called a friend of mine, and I was like, I realized I'm a grind set guy now.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be a grind set guy, but I am my own boss. You know, I wake up and I grind. The only person I'm
accountable to
is me.
Yeah.
Right. And you just it's not you know, I know people who that became their thing. I know people who dropped out of college to be grind set guys.
Yeah.
Right. You know, they followed the wrong Instagram account and start paying a dude $100,000 to, you know, be their life coach or something. You know, that happens. But for me, I literally was working and then just got more work and then got more work, and now I'm just working for myself and I'm at home all the time. But you know, you have the same sort of tensions, right? Where it's like, oh, you know, I understand now why it would be so much easier if I did this and I was just a single guy in my 20s. Right? If I was just a single guy in my 20s, I would be so powerful. I would have power beyond our comprehension. You know, just, you know, make, you know.
But to what end, Shad?
I know. To what end?
end?
I'm sure that I would be a total loser. I know I would be a total loser. I'd be at home all the time working or, you know, going out and hanging out, and that'd be it. You know, I'd be just living it up, bachelor style. But the thing is that's totally unrewarding in a million different ways. And, you know, if you're at that stage of your life, I'm not saying that this is, you know, I'm not trying to talk down to you if you're not at that stage.
You know what? Different strokes, different folks.
Different
you know,
strokes, different folks, whatever. But I know for a fact that I would be very depressed. Incredibly so.
Yeah, that reminds me. I often think about where I would be if I was a bachelor, right? Like, I would just take my current circumstance and batch it up, batch style.
Yeah.
And
a lot more Stofers.
Yeah, I would be eating frozen pizzas at least once a week.
Yeah.
Probably twice.
No, I did that.
Because they're one of my favorite things.
That summer you got married, I was, you know, living by myself in Lansing. I gained like 20 pounds. Not 20 pounds. I gained like 10 pounds because I was, you know, I lived half a block away from Meijer.
Oh, forget about it.
I would just get home from work. I would, you know, go to shop for positive ingredients and be like, or I could just buy these chicken strips at the deli, and then you buy
and they'd be good.
And you buy those chicken strips from the deli, right? And that's what you would eat for like a day and a half, you know. And then you would.
Well, and that's why I think that us working from home sort of opens up that door a little bit too much, right? Where it's like sometimes I'm like, I've worked hard today. I deserve to just be a guy that eats Taco Bell today. That's going to be my thing today.
Well, here's the problem with that is that because
I've got that freedom, I've got that noose to hang myself.
I wish I had that noose because since I don't have a gallbladder, the other day I had a super long day at work. No, it was last Saturday. I worked 5 hours in the lawn, and I was like, I went to buy some sparkling water and some High Noons so that I could drink something that night. You know, because if you've mowed your lawn as an adult male who's mowed his lawn, you are, you know, required to have a sparkly adult beverage. You know, it's required.
Either while you're doing it or post.
While you're doing it or post. And so, as I was driving home, I was like, you know what? I'm going to swing by McDonald's and grab a single McChicken. And like, 11 o'clock rolled around, and I rolled over in bed, and Becca was like, what's wrong? And I was like, my head wants to explode. Yeah. Like my brain wants to leave its casing. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah. It's we are becoming old men before our time.
You're
it's
becoming
rough.
old men right before our time, you know. And the thing is though, is I know I would feel this bad if I was single. I would just power through. Right? If you're single,
you wouldn't think about it.
You wouldn't think about it. You would drink through it. You would party through it. You would just distract yourself. You would listen to your podcast more and just try to like not think about how much you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Until it's too late. And this is why men who are married live far longer.
Yeah.
Like by a long shot, because there's somebody.
There's an accountability.
There's somebody in your life where like not only you like I need to not do this because I need to live longer so that I can support my family. But there's also somebody who's looking at you
and saying,
so that
why?
When you haven't changed, you haven't put pants on today and you're eating a frozen pizza in your underwear watching like anime, and it's like, yeah, crap. You're like, oh, well, this is just troglodyte lifestyle. I'm a troglodyte. I can just do this. But if you're married, it's like, oh, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah. And, they expose those moments where you're no longer allowed to distract yourself to the point where you don't have to think about it. So. Yeah, it's It's all good. It's hard though. Sometimes I feel like I wish I could have that lifestyle.
Yeah, but the thing is, you would squander it.
yeah, I would.
I realized this the other day. I was like, oh man, I would do. I was thinking like, oh, if I had more time, I could do blah blah. I was like, no, I sure as hell wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd watch another 12-hour YouTube documentary.
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't do anything.
I mean, I'm doing that right now.
Might as well do it and be.
You do it again.
and
Keep
be-
it rolling,
be
brother.
Locked down.
Yes.
In some respect. I
Yes.
know. It's ridiculous.
Goodness, Shad,
ridiculous.
do you have anything you want to say to the people before we call this an episode?
I would say what I want to tell the people is that the American intelligence apparatus is actively working to get you.
True. The CIA and the FBI are two of the worst things that ever happened in this country.
Yeah. And, make sure that you do everything you possibly can to stay healthy. Stay
Mentally?
healthy. Yeah.
Physically?
We're going back to
Spiritually.
the Ultimate Warrior on this one. Eat your greens. Take your vitamins. Do your homework. It matters in the long run.
There you go. That's what Shad has to tell the American people.
What do you have to tell the American
What do I
people?
have to tell the American people?
Yeah.
The world is run by a cabal of pedophiles, and that do not have your best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And that's something to be sad and scared about, even though there's probably nothing you can be doing about it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, go Hawks, go Seahawks.
Go
This is gonna be their year. Go Hawks.